Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
It's my friend is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the morning grind. Well, welcome to my home, welcome to the office, and welcome to the morning grind. I hope you are doing well today. I'll give you a brief rundown on everything that's been happening. I know I missed Wednesday, was trying to get stuff done, and I still am trying to get stuff done. But our main topic for today is this game right here. Does anybody know this one? This one was just sent to me, and so I actually don't know anything about it, but I got this one in the mail Tuesday or something like that, I guess. The Life of Reterra. This is an Eric M. Lang game. It's made by Eric M. Lang, which I have a number of his games over here on my collection, and then also Ken Gruel. And I don't know anything about it, so I'm gonna check it out. It might be a good one to play with the nephews. I don't know. We'll find out. So let's see who all is here. Let's see here. Bacon Gaming is here. Good morning, Bacon. Let's see. We've got Sable here. Good morning, Sable Phoenix. Stray, it is so good to see you. I hope you're doing well, Stray. Good morning. Good morning. Great to see you. Been a while. Lynn is here. Good morning. Christopher Jackson. Good morning, Christopher. Fingers to eyebrow salute. Good morning, afternoon, evening, as it applies to you. Hey, Christopher. Good to see you. Zero the Blade is here. Let's see. It has been miserable here in Alabama. It's been miserable. Every summer I say, why am I still here in Alabama? Shouldn't I be going someplace else for the summer? And yet here I am sitting here in the summer again in Alabama. I'm going to try to change that up for next summer. try that one more time. Because my theory is that if I'm going to be hot and humid, I at least should be at the beach. So if I'm at the beach and I'm really hot, that's fine. But otherwise, I need to be someplace where it's not so hot. But I guess I'm just going to deal with it this summer again and then see what happens. Good morning, Zero the Blade. Good morning. Oh, no, that's terrible, Sable. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, gonna go hang out with Doug and start Babylon 5 tonight. Now, see, tonight is I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to watch House of the Dragon tonight. I don't know if I'm going to do a stream after House of the Dragon. I kind of want to, but I've got a lot of other things going on. We're about to talk about two things I've been trying to get done. But I'm going to watch House of the Dragon, and if I do that, I'll send out some invite links to Doug and Retro Nerd Girl, and maybe even Lorena Creole. You know, I was watching yesterday that Retro Nerd Girl and Lorena Creole are going through all of the original Star Trek movies, and they've got a lot that's been going on there. Watching them through, giving commentary. I didn't get to watch the entire stream on Star Trek 5. I posted to the Ravenkeep Discord server with Table Talk to the Table Talk channel last night when I saw that Retro and Lorena were on talking about Star Trek 5. It might be we might be able to talk to them. I think it'd be great to have a stream talking about Star Trek with both of them. So we will see. Maybe we can coordinate that. Okay, I've been trying to upgrade things around here. I told you last time, I think it was last week, that I've been trying to upgrade the studio here. I was trying to get my camera upgraded, and I still have not been able to get this thing on. So this afternoon, I'm going to try one more time to try to get this battery. Maybe it's a battery issue or something. I'm not sure. But I'm going to try one more time this afternoon, try to break this down and get a new camera going for us. Otherwise, well, who knows? Maybe I can shuffle some things around. But I still didn't get that going. But you may have noticed, look, I did get my new microphone in. So I do have you can hear me. So this is kind of a tech test for the new microphone. I did get so the new microphone is in. Let me know how it sounds. Like I said, hopefully it is actually working and I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. But the new microphone is working, so that's quite serious. I still don't have contacts in, so I'm still having to wear glasses. But I'm working on it. So trying to upgrade here. We got the background lighting. We got the microphone. Maybe we'll be able to upgrade the video camera soon. What did I? There it is. Yeah, yeah. It's got this. Yeah, it's got this green light on it, and actually, it's in order to. I touch it and it becomes red to mute it. So it's actually got a physical mute. So actually, you guys would also be able to tell if it's flashing red, then it's actually muted. So that should have worked. So we will see. I like it. I got it on the arm swing so I can get something else off my desk here. I've got plenty of stuff on the desk. All right, let me give you a brief rundown on what's been going on, especially with the cultist RPGs and things like that, because there has been a lot of stuff. I'm going to be working on it this afternoon some more. James has the rule book. And he is doing some edits on that. So that's been done. Now, meanwhile, I went ahead and made unedited or previews from the material that had not been sent to James. So I created two preview documents of the Cultist RPG book out of PDFs. And I'm calling one of them a preview because I intentionally made one short. Because that way you can put out and be like, hey, what is this? And let me check this over. It turns out when I was formatting, I put them into Mac Pages and then made it 6x9 because it's going to be a 6x9 book at the end. We got to go through play testing. We got to do some stuff. And then maybe I'm hoping that Brianna will be able to lay it out. She's actually working on she's actually getting much more serious about job applications. She told me on Wednesday, job applications out in LA. So she might be using her time to do job applications. I might have to find somebody else. But at any rate, the final layout will be done in 6x9. So I went ahead and put a 6x9 layout in Mac Pages for the Cultist RPG, and just kind of laying it out with some standard size fonts and things like that. Nothing too fancy. Came out to 90 pages. Excuse me. So it's much more robust than the 48 pages I was thinking of originally. But so I made a shorter one that's kind of like, hey, let's this is just kind of like a quick look at what it is, and then I put together another one, which is the complete beta playtest rules for those who would like it. So those are ready, and having those ready, that felt like crossing a major hurdle, and that let me go and do other things over this week related to the game. I went ahead and reached out to some manufacturers because we've got these miniatures, and we made the call last week that, like, hey, if we're gonna do this RPG game, then the miniatures should at least be on there. And now there's Shay. Get the camera to focus. We got Shay. Here's Rob. And these need to be available on the RPG in some way, with his trident right there and the fish on his head. I went ahead and reached out to some manufacturers about having them created overseas, which I was trying to not do. But I decided, hey, I might as well go ahead and price that. So I reached out to a manufacturer about the players pack, which I finalized what was going to be in that, the miniatures over here, and also dice. At one point, I had designed some cultist dice that go with the game. And I'm like, well, gee, if this is the RPG, the dice should be there. It may end up being, I'm going to be looking at this afternoon because I've got some information back. It seems like probably the miniatures will be STLs, but then what I will also do probably is like find someone who can print them. So if you don't print, which I don't have a printer right now, I've been kind of delaying getting into that. Eventually I'm going to have to, but I'm kind of delaying getting into that. Come up with somebody who will print it and then send it out too. So I have a tier where it's just printed. But then I'm going to take a look and see how much it costs to get those dice done, because the dice have the janky Cthulhu emblem on them. They've got the Cthulhu that Rob got burned into his cheek. And then also it uses the Three Stooges font on the rest of the dice. So they look pretty cool. We'll make them in green, but I got to know what that price is going to be. So I set out to get some pricing on that, but I'm still trying to keep this as local as it can be to make sure that it gets done and is practical and so forth. So I'm going to go over all of that material that I got back or answer any questions this afternoon. So that's going on. Brianna did work on laying out some of those character sheets, those pre-generated characters, because I want to be able to have those not only in the book, but have them be able to be printed in the players pack. So Brianna did a great job laying out some of the character sheets. They look really good. But I do think we're going to need to get the illustrations done. I think they need the illustrations. And then I started writing video scripts because I was like, all right, now I got to get the trailer ready and I want to do a video on how to play in 5 minutes. So I started working on those scripts so that I could make those videos. So a large part of today is going to be dealing with those kinds of things. That would have been funny. Len says, it would have been hysterical if Rob's brand had been made of the Starbucks logo. Yeah, the robot chicken about the Starbucks logo? Probably if he encountered, if you had the ability to actually get them out into the world more. We got I forget what is the number of subscribers on the channel now. I'll give you an update on that. But if we had the ability to get them out into the world more, having the Cultists of Dagon really be into Starbucks would be pretty neat. Let's see. Report on the Cultist YouTube channel. 2,228 subscribers. So that's really good. Let's see. I do need to do something related on that channel. But 2,228 subscribers on the Cultist YouTube channel, so that's fantastic. Hit something over here before I forget. But then what else? Let's see. I started to go over. I started doing some writing as well, because some fiction writing. Because after having finished that draft all the way through of that document for the Cultist RPG, which that represents a tremendous amount of my creative output for this year. That's 18. It turned out to be, before editing, 18,111 words. So that was quite a bit. And I do have other things I would like to write. I would like to write before the end of the year. I would like to be able to do another Christmas story. Like, ideally, I would like to do another Christmas story. I have one of the Rabavania stories that I wanted to have wanted to give to my nephews, and I was trying to get that done, but the people who are critiquing it it had every problem you could possibly imagine in it. I would like to be able to return to that, but also, Cameron was talking to me, and Cameron said that of all the things that I have been working on, the story about Clovis, and Clovis is the mythological hero of the rabbits who has to fight Anorda, one of the great monster who is like dominating the world. He said, that's the one that is the one that could be the most likely to be some kind of a franchise or something. I'm like, well, then okay, then I really need to work on that. And I did sit down the other day for just creative writing time. I went through all of my notes that Cameron had given me on the original Clovis story, and I'm wondering if I should put that out in some way, because I wrote the story of Clovis, this mythological hero of the rabbits, as an in-universe text written by the anchorite of Willow Grove Locked. It's only about, it's less than 10,000 words. It's like 7,000, but it's written as an in-universe text, and arguably it's not perfectly structured. So I sat down and I had all of my critiques, and I was like, all right, if I were to write this not as an in-universe text, but as more of a traditional story, and I were going to structure it more like the hero's journey, although there are still some issues with that, what would I do? And I actually came to some great ideas, and I started writing a little bit, got the structure nailed down, then I started writing a little bit. But I'm wondering, should I release the in-universe text? I want to keep the in-universe text as it is, and at least have it as reference, because I want to be able to go back to it, or the quotes or things like that. That's an in-universe text, so we will have to see. So lots going on. That's kind of the update right here. Hey, good morning, Mike M. Oh, this is the roll mechanics that he has sent. Now that was a major thing. I remember looking at that. But anyway, so that's where we are. But that's why I thought today I don't have a whole lot to look at as far as the Cultist RPG goes. But hopefully we'll soon. And I thought, hey, let's do an unboxing today, because unboxings are popular. I like it. We'll do an unboxing, and we'll take a look at what this game is. I don't know. Did anybody else say that they had seen it? All right, so I got it right here. Let's lift up the auxiliary camera right here. There we go. Life in Reterra, a community rebuilding game. And I just barely looked at the back of this game like 10 minutes before we went live here. So this says that it is 10 plus, ages 2 to 4 players, and 35 minutes plus or minus, it says. Life in Reterra, reclaimed by nature, rebuilt by you. Not long from now, the world as we know it is an overgrown memory. Though the world has changed, we have changed with it, using anything we can find to build a new way of living. It's up to you to build a community on your own. Bring life to it with diverse terrain, reclaimed buildings, and relics of the past to make a home for your inhabitants. Interact with your neighbors and perhaps even interfere with their progress. Make your cozy community thrive to earn the most points and win. So it says build differently each time. Unique building powers change your community. Contents, it says 104 land tiles, 15 double-sided building cards, 93 building tiles, 30 junk relic tokens, 32 wood inhabitant pawns, setup board, score pad, storage trays, and game guide. Well, let's see what it's about. Yeah, I know this may be like a game for the nephews. I noticed that on the back here, it has like parents scan here. Well, I don't know if you can see. This got a QR code here that says parents scan here to learn more. So it may be intended as like a family game. Let's see what happens when I scan this. It says parents scan here to learn more. Let's find out what this is. Okay, it does have it takes me to a how to play life in Reterra. So there is a video here. Basically, it just takes me to its web page, but it did pop right down to how to play. So parents scan here to learn more, but it did take me to a how to play video. Let's see what's inside. All right, rule book. Okay, doesn't look too complex. So it looks like we'll be able to take a look at that. Okay. Rule book. Punch boards. Looks like soccer balls. Set 1. I don't know what all this is. The art is neat, but we got it's I don't know what all these represent. Different types of buildings, I guess. Okay, here must be our land tiles right here. Hey, good morning, Robert. Good morning. Oh, breathe and sip. Hey, yes. I got my favorite beverage right here. The camera is fuzzy. Which camera? I'll get the secondary camera to try to refocus. Maybe that'll work. Yep, let's breathe and sip. Forgot about that. I was thinking the other day that we had forgotten about that. All right, so let's breathe and sip. Let's get your favorite beverage right here. I've got the Fish Do Not Drink Tea mug right here. We're going to take 2 deep breaths. Inhale through the mouth, exhale through the nose. Oh, is it let me see if I can bring this light closer. Well, I'll do that in just a moment after the sip. I'll see if I can bring the ring light closer. All right, let's take a deep breath. 2 deep breaths. Inhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. Let's breathe. And sip. That always reminds me to calm down on the stream. Okay, let's see if I can't get this ring light closer. There, that's some more light on the situation. And don't try to do both at the same time either. I'm still dealing with a little bit of congestion, but feeling good. Okay, so we got land tiles here. I'm gonna have to turn on this AC. Land and water tiles. They're blank on the back. Looks like we got some shiny foil on it too. B and B, breathe and sip. B and S. Breathe and sip. And that's got a phone on it. Some kind of phone emblem. Gear emblems. And it looks like we've got a board. So not a million pieces to the game, which is nice. Okay, it says life in Reterra over here. It says place one on your turn, place one land pile. If that land tile, place one land tile. If that land tile has a gear, you may place one building or one inhabitant. Use building powers if you can. Refill the land tile row if needed. Okay, these are our relics over here. The relics, the soccer ball, the phone, the book, the compass, and the battery. Oh, look, there are more pieces under here. Oh, so that's the board. But see, we also have. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. Whoa. Oh, wooden meeple-like pieces over here. So we've got the scorecard, player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. Terrain segments of 7+ spaces, 3 points. Energy sources, only if surrounded by other land tiles, 8 points. Relics, icons and tokens, 1 point. Inhabitants, 1 point. Building, C, building cards. Junk, -1 point. Okay. Wooden meeples. One thing I didn't anticipate is that this, I'm not used to having a microphone, like, looking down when I'm trying to look at the game down here. I guess these are our inhabitants. As, like, wooden meeples. Let's see if I can... They're chunky. They're some kind of, like, cereal or something they remind me of. Maybe did it say we have player trays or something? Because I see there's like this, but there's nothing in it. So that might be a player tray or something. Yeah, same thing over here. Or a place to put stuff during the game. Cards. Amphitheater. Okay, so this looks like some of those things I didn't know what were. Yeah, so the different kinds of buildings, that looks like what they are. Amphitheater, for instance, worth 14 points if you have at least 14 water spaces in your community. Hot springs, at the end of every turn, place one inhabitant on a water space. Sports field, if you have at least 3 types of visible relics in your community, place one inhabitant on any space at the end of your turn. Observatory, worth 0 points if there are any buildings or on the same segment of continuous terrain as this building. Junk catapult, when placed, place a junk token on any space next to a building in both of your neighbors' communities. Fishing hole, worth 2 additional points if you have more water spaces in your community than both your neighbors. Oh, I see why that's there. Well, maybe I don't. All right, let's see what's in the rule book here. What is this all about? It says, Oh, was I muted? Did I move that and accidentally mute myself? Oh, I think I did. I think when I moved, I'm gonna have to be aware of that. When I moved the microphone, I think I accidentally muted myself. I touched the mute bar. Sorry about that. All right, so did you see the welcome? I'll start back up here. So, okay, it does say that up here is the instructional video, so you can learn how to play. Welcome. Not so long from now, the world looks very different. Our cities have been reclaimed by nature, and pieces of our past exist only in remnants. Remnants we must now use to rebuild the present. The present. We're finding new ways to thrive together because when nothing remains, community is everything. Object. Create a cozy, thriving community. Place land tiles with diverse terrain, then build on them to attract inhabitants. Collect relics to guide your inhabitants and teach them about our past. Earn the most points to win. The first time you play. Okay, open the tray with the illustration on the lid and remove the building cards. Sort them into 3 building sets below. That's the one that has an illustration on it. Open the tray with an illustration on the lid and remove the building cards. But the building cards look like they're in the other one. These are definitely the building cards. No. All right, got that out. It says pop the building tiles and junk relic tokens from their sheets. What it says sort the buildings into 3s. Sort the buildings into essentials, commerce, and leisure. How do I know which ones are which? Are they different colors? Surely it doesn't have to be. I don't have to just know. But okay, you got 3 different sets of buildings: essentials, commerce, and leisures. Pop the building tiles and junk relic tokens from their sheets. Sort the building tiles. I think that's these over here. The soccer ball on one side, and then that looks like junk on the other side. So pop the building tiles and junk relic tokens from their sheets. Sort the building tiles into their starting building sets based on the matching images on the building cards above. Place each set of tiles in its building set storage tray. Okay, so you're just having to do that for the first time. That's why we have the different trays right here. So like here is a tray. So you put one set in there. Sort the building tiles into their starter building sets based on the matching tiles on the building cards listed above. Place each set of tiles in its building tray set storage tray. The numbers on the lids match the numbers on the sets. So set 1 goes with tray 1, set 2 with tray 2, and set 3 with tray 3. Okay, so for instance, this does say tray 1 right here. I've got a 1. You may not be able to see it, but there's a 1 on that. And this does say over here, set 1. Yeah, well, let's see what that. So this is set 1. So set 1 is supposed to be essentials. Surely this, I would have thought that up here it was like, oh, set 1, set 2, and set 3, but it's not. Question mark, 0s, 4s, things like that. So the essentials, and actually this is in purple right here, but it's in orange here. So set 1 is the school. Okay, school. Oh, garden. Maybe they're here in the back. Garden, farm, infirmary, and public square. Okay. And then if this is set 1, looks like we got some large squares in here. Some of these must go under there. These L-shaped ones. That must be what's going on here. That looks like, yeah, those fit right there. Pop the building and junk relic tiles from their sheets. Sort the building tiles into their starter building sets based on the matching images of the cards above. I guess. Well, I'm not sure. I was trying to look at the art. That's the infirmary. Okay, infirmary. Farm, that's the farm. That makes sense. Garden. No, wait, hold on. That's the infirmary. That's the farm over there. That's the school. Okay. Actually, has this game even been released yet? This could be I mean, this is an advanced copy they sent to me. Last time we got one that hadn't actually been released yet, which was fun. So I guess this is the first. This is still the first time setup. Oh, here we go. And then these are the L-shaped buildings. Yep, they fit. Okay, so we're making trays like that. Place the building cards on top of the building tiles in their respective trays. Place the junk relic tokens in the tray with the inhabitants and the score pad. Oh, okay. So score pad, we got the inhabitants right there, and then these go over here. So that's what we got. Place the junk relic tokens. Good, got that. So we're gonna have 3 sets of building trays when we get done here. The land storage tray, and then our junk relic and inhabitant storage tray. Okay, that's first time setup. Setup. Unfold the setup board and place it in the center of your play space. Choose your building set. Each building set contains 1 set. Each building set tray contains 1 set. Put the other building trays back in the box. For your first game, use set 1, the essentials. Okay. So it's kind of like Dominion, in which you're choosing what you're going to be playing with for different games. Didn't it say on the back of this box? It said something like, build differently each time. Yeah. Unique building powers change your community. Okay. I guess replayability there. But it says, okay, for game 1, use set 1 essentials. Place each building card on the space at the bottom of the board down here on the top with the gear icons that match the icons in the top right of the card. These will tell you the power of the building tiles, and you'll place in your community and stay on the board as you play. Each side has a different power, so make sure the side with the power you'd like to use for each building is face up. Oh, these are double-sided? Oh, so that's why they're purple. Yeah, I said they were purple in here, but they were orange on mine. I've got a purple side and an orange side. So like the public square on orange sides, your inhabitants are each worth 1 additional point. On the back, it says worth 1 additional point per space with your largest segment of continuous terrain. Okay, I didn't pick up on that. These are double-sided. So each side has a different power. Make sure the side with the power you'd like to use for each building is face up. You can't change which side up which side you're using later. For your first game, use the purple side of the building cards. So we've got points the corresponding building is worth up there. The segment of gear space is required to build this in your community, like that 3 L-shaped or just 2. The power of the building when placed in your community. Make sure everyone takes a look at the building's powers. Okay, 4. Fill the spaces with each building card, above each building card with the card's corresponding building tiles. If you're playing with less than 4 players, you won't use all the building tiles. Only fill as many spaces as the board tells you based on the number next to the spaces. Put any extra tiles back in their storage tray. Okay, so I saw that we got 2 players, 3 players, and 4 players. How many of these tiles are going to be there? Oh, this one right here, like the public square is a 4. 4 in a square shape. If the building powers you're using involve junk or relics, place the junk relic tokens in piles next to the set up of the board. For your first game, you'll use only the junk side of the tokens. When you're ready to try the other sets, you'll use the relic side. Place the inhabitants next to the inhabitant pawns next to the setup board. And then the player most likely to thrive in Apocalypse goes first. And play moves to the left. It says place 5 random land tiles next to the setup board, face up. Stack the remaining tiles face down beside them. So here we go. So we do have those. Yeah, those gear icons. So I guess when you're putting land out, you're trying to put gear icons together in a way that's going to allow you to build a building, it looks like. Because like now I've got one in a 3 shape, the L shapes. Now I could build an L-shaped building, I guess. I guess that's where we're going here. Shuffle the rest of the land tiles and give 3 to each player. These are your secret land tiles, and you only get these 3 for the whole game. You may look at them, but keep them a secret. It says, find the 4 land tiles with the Life in Reterra logo on them. These are the starter land tiles, the first piece of your communities. Place 1 random tile face up in front of each player and put away any extras. You won't use the score pad until the game ends, but keep it handy to reference as you play. All right. This does seem like a nephew game. Take turns adding land, buildings, and inhabitants to your community. A community is complete when you make a square of 4 land tiles by 4 land tiles for 16 total. Okay, on your turn, place a land tile. Choose 1 land tile from the land tile row, or from your secret land tiles and add it to your community. On your first turn, you must place it next to your starter land tile. Land tiles are made up of 4 terrain spaces and might have icons on them. Okay, here. The tile must align with the full edge of another tile. Terrain spaces don't have to match up, but it will help you later if they do. You may rotate the tile in any orientation. Icons might be upside down, and that's fine. So this is valid, this is not. Energy resources. Some land tiles have an energy source on them. The only terrain found on these is water. You may place them like you would any other tile, and they're worth points, but only if surrounded by other land tiles. Other energy sources count too when the game ends. See energy sources, page 10. If there are 2 or more energy sources on the land tile row, you may choose to discard them to the bottom of the land stack and replace them with 2 new tiles. If you placed a land tile with gears on it, you may choose to place 1 building or 1 inhabitant on that tile. Choose carefully. You can't move inhabitants or buildings once they're placed. You don't have to place anything if you don't want to. So here we've got this L-shaped right here. Each space the building covers must have gears on it. Each space the building covers must be the same type of terrain. Okay, so probably my little example there didn't work. So each space the building covers must be the same type of terrain. So that's going to be important. Hey, Charlie. So that didn't work. That doesn't work. See pages 9 and 11 more about buildings. Placing an inhabitant. You may place an inhabitant only on a gear and only on the land tile you placed this turn. Some building powers let you place more inhabitants on spaces without gears or building tiles. That's different from the action of placing an inhabitant on a gear. It happens next when you use your building's powers. Use your building's powers. If you have buildings in your community with a power you can use now, use them. Building powers kick in on the next turn after you place them, unless their building card says otherwise. If your building power, so it has summoning sickness. If your building's powers involve your neighbors, it means it only relates to those players sitting directly to your left and right. I was wondering about that. So you're each building your own board? That's what it sounds like to me. Like you're not building on a common board. It doesn't sound like. Take turns adding land, buildings, and inhabitants to your community. A community is complete when it makes a square of 4 by 4, a 4 by 4 square, 16 total. It sounds like you're making your own. So your neighbors are the people who are sitting next to you, not necessarily people who are connected to you on the board. Sounds that way. Refill the land tile roll. If you took a tile from the land row, replace it with a tile from the top of the land tile stack. Remember, you only get 3 secret land tiles. If you used a secret tile, don't replace it. The end of the game. Take turns until each player has built their community of 4. Each player. Take turns until each player has built their community of 4 by 4 land tiles. Use the score pad in page 10 and 11 to count your points. Scoring example on page 13. The player with the most points wins. That's all you need to start playing. Flip the page and keep this guide open to pages 8 and 9 as a reference. Come back to this section as needed. Well, I like that. So how to play is actually just this right here. So place a land tile, place a building or inhabitant, use building powers, refill land row. That's what you're doing. Makes sense. On your turn, don't forget to place 1 land tile. If that land tile has a gear, you may place 1 building or 1 inhabitant. Use building powers if you can. Refill the land row as needed. I like simple. Okay, here's an example of what your community might look like when it's done. And so you've got the inhabitants standing up. The buildings. You'll use these to make your community thrive and earn points. Start with the purple side of the building cards found in set 1 essentials for your first game. Then move on to set 2 commerce or flip to the orange side of set 1s for the next game. Once you get the hang of things, you can create your own building sets. Write your favorites on page 14 and 15. Oh, interesting. So it is a lot like Dominion in that regard. My building sets. Kind of the way that you like to play right here. Okay, I like that. So building, which building you like and which color side. Very interesting. Building cards. Building cards tell you the power and value of their corresponding building tile. Each side of the tile has a unique power, but both sides use the same building tiles. These cards stay on the bottom of the set board while you play as a reference. Building sets. The tray with the number on the lids each hold a starter building set. A building set consists of 5 building cards and the corresponding building tiles. You can mix and match any combination of buildings and powers from any different trays when you set up the game. You don't have to use the same color for each building card. Building sets must contain 2 types. Okay, so this is important, how to build that out. 2 types of 2-space buildings, 2 types of 3-space buildings, and 1 type of 4-space building. Okay, so that's your set. So I guess that we saw that back here. 1 4 set, 2 L-shaped sets, the 3s, and then 2 2s. Things you find on land tiles. Land tiles, a good home starts with a good foundation. These tiles are the land in your community. Each tile is made up of 4 terrain spaces. Terrain spaces can be forest, desert, asphalt, grass, or water. All of the above spaces are terrain spaces. They make up land tiles. Continuous segments of terrain are unbroken chunks of the same type of terrain space. You can earn points for more than 1 segment, but segments of 14 plus spaces are still only worth 3 points. Where's ours? So here's our scorecard right here. So terrain segment of 7 plus spaces, that gets you 3 points. Okay. Segments of 7 plus continuous spaces of the same type are worth 3 points. Gear icons. Gear up for a new building and new friends. These appear on land tiles. You must place buildings or inhabit them. No point value, but that allows us to build stuff. Relic icons. Oh, mysterious box. That's the cell phone. The white icons found in the tiles are relics. These are for your inhabitants to learn more about, trade, or perhaps just daydream about. If another player has placed a junk token on a relic in your community, it isn't worth anything and you can't remove the junk. So 1 point each for each relic icon in your community. But if they're covered, they get 0 points. Energy sources. Energy sources appear on a few different tiles. Since there is water on these, they can be part of a water terrain segment. Surrounded by land tiles, other energy sources count 2, 8 points. Not surrounded by land tiles, 0 points. So I guess we're not going diagonal here because it says here, this energy source is worth points. This one is not. Things you place on land tiles, building tiles, make what once was into what will be. Use these to build out your community. These must be placed on the gear icons found on land tiles. Buildings have different powers and point values depending on which side of the corresponding building cards you're using. See building cards, page 9. Some buildings' powers involve neighbors, those players directly to your left and right. So neighbors are to your left and right. You must have more than one of the same building in your community. You may, not must. You may. You may have more than one of the same building in your community, and you'll score them individually based on what the building card says. Check the corresponding building card for the point value of a building. Inhabitant pawns. Hey there, little buddy. These are the people who live in your community. They earn you points. Inhabitants must be placed on gear icons unless you have a building with a power that says otherwise. You can't place anything on top of these, and they're worth 1 point each. A relic token. These tokens work just like relic icons. You'll use relic tokens only when a building power calls for it. They're double-sided. Junk is on the other side. If another player has placed a junk token on a relic token in your community, it isn't worth anything, and you can't remove the junk. 1 point each. So 1 point each is a relic. If covered, 0 points. So here are the junk tokens. One community's trash is another community's, nope, still trash. You'll play these tokens against other players only when a building power calls for it. They're found on the other side of the relic tokens. If there's junk on a relic in your community, you won't get points for it. Junk subtracts points from your score, and you can't place anything on top of it or remove it, sorry. You can't place these on buildings or inhabitants. They are negative 1 point each. Oh, so junk not only can sometimes cover something, but also are negative 1 point. Negative 1 point. You can't place them on buildings or inhabitants. So it sounds like you can put junk on something else. Hey, Doc Flamingo. Good morning. Good to see you. So you can put something, it sounds like you could put the junk on some other square too, but if you cover something, then they don't get points for it. So here are some tips. Scoring example. Terrain segment of 7+ spaces, 3 points. He's got 4 terrain segments that are like that for 12 points. I wish it pointed them out to me. I guess water counts. I guess so. Here's our energy that's completely surrounded. So I guess that means you can't put the energy like on the edge. Yeah, because he says 1 energy that's surrounded by land, so that one doesn't count right there. Energy sources, so 1 surrounded energy source for 8 points. Relics, 1. So the 1 point each. He says we got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, did I count 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it says there are 9 of them out there. 9 visible relics, 4 inhabitants, 3 buildings, and their values vary. There are 2 piles of junk in here for a total of 41 points. It's been a long time since I played a game where I'm supposed to like tally things up on a score sheet. Placing things next to inhabitants or buildings. Some buildings have powers that allow you to place inhabitants, relics, or junk on the places directly. Next to them, next to buildings in your neighbor's community, or next to inhabitants. This means all the empty spaces surrounded by the building's inhabitants that don't already have a building, token, or inhabitant on them, including energy sources. These are the spaces next to. So wait, what's that? I don't even get that. Placing things next to buildings and inhabitants. Some buildings have powers that allow you to place inhabitants, relics, or junk in the spaces directly next to them. Oh, next to building in your neighbor's community or next to inhabitants. This means all the empty spaces surrounding the building's inhabitants that don't already have a building, token, or inhabitant on them, including energy sources. Because ordinarily you only place them on the gear. Okay, I got you. Junk, you can't place anything on top of junk and you can't remove it. You can't place junk on top of buildings or inhabitants. Community borders. The purple side of the observatory card involves the borders of your community. This means it's worth more if they are built on any spaces on the very edge of your community. So that's what this is saying right here. Stacking building powers. Some buildings have powers to use each turn, starting on the turn after you place it. If you place more than one of the same building, their powers stack. For example, if you have 2 sports fields, you'll place 2 relic tokens each turn. Curated building sets. Looking for a particular kind of game and not sure where to start making a perfect set. So this is like Dominion in that sense. The Unfriendly Neighbors set for players who want to mess with their neighbors. Peace and Quiet set for players who want more peaceful solitary games. Popularity Contest set for players who love to gather inhabitants. Rewarding Hoarding set for players who want a community full of relics. Oh. All right. Well, interesting. Yes, a very different kind of style of game than we often talk about. We're not doing wizards and warriors with this game killing each other. That's okay. We don't always I always remember that there was a guy who asked me, this was a long time ago when I was an intern at an urban planning commission. And of course, I was, still who I am and liking the kinds of things that I like. And I was talking about something again. And he asked me, do you ever do anything that's not, wizards? It's like I use that a lot now. I'm like, yeah. Does this have like wizards in it? Okay, then it must be something that I like. So here is something. It's still a board game, but okay, this one does not have like wizards all in it. But okay, I'm glad we looked at it because I like learning something new. So if you see this might be out in Target or something like this. Hey, it might be a good game that you think of that needs to be like a gift to somebody or something that doesn't. When you're looking for a board game that's not like, like I said, stabbing each other with swords and blowing each other up with fireballs. It does seem like one that I will probably take over to my nephew's house as soon the next time I go. I like to play other kinds of games with them. But sometimes in the evenings, like by the time I get over to their house, it is too late to try to learn the kind of game that I would like to play with them. So simpler games are sometimes better. So this one could certainly be it. And, they do play tile games. They've got this tile game. I can't remember the name of it. But they play it quite a bit where you've got all these land tiles like this, and you've got explorers on one side, and then you've got like archaeological sites that you've got to get to. So it's like an Indiana Jones kind of thing. And you're trying to like set down tiles to make paths to go from your like adventuring archaeologists to the archaeological sites. So they play that quite a bit. So this kind of like land tile game is certainly something that they do. So this game could be in their wheelhouse. And thank you very much for sending it out to me. So this was one that was a preview copy. So really want to thank thank Kent for sending this out. So he's the same one who sent out our Hero Quest stuff. So he has sent out Life in Reterra. And it's also interesting to see because like Eric Lang, we got games by Eric Lang. But of course he's done a lot of the fantasy games too. But so this one's in a different kind of style. Yeah, I know. So we could come up with like let's come up with some way to add a wizard to this game. Does this game have a wizard in it or something? Can't we have a wizard in it? Okay, so that was a little bit different. That was a good break. I always do like unboxing games and doing a first impressions and seeing what it's all about. So I do like that. So oh, I did it again. I'm gonna have to be careful about that. So you can see if I mute myself. See how it turned? I'm gonna have to be careful about that because apparently that button is really easy to touch when I'm adjusting the microphone. In fact, I might have to put something over it. Yeah, I know that mic is dangerous. At least it's visible to you guys. Make sure it's like up. I might actually have to put something over that to make sure that I'm not muting myself when I adjust it. But anyway, like I said, not everything always has to be like the game of life. And not everything has to be a 4-hour board game about killing each other with wizards. I can see this being something that would have been on the house and on the shelf as a kid. Because like we also played like a lot of Life and Clue. No, I might try that too. I wonder if you could flip it over. I could flip it over. Maybe I could flip it over in the holder, and that way the mute button would be on the bottom. But probably be more unlikely for me to touch it because it's also like it's a touch sensitive. It's just a touch sensitive bar. But anyway, so I'm going to work on stuff tonight. I also want to get us back into the coffee shop. I have not been able to launch. I've been thinking about that quite a bit. Let me take this down. I was thinking about that quite a bit in general because I just haven't been able to relaunch a RavenCon. Like with everything else going on, working at the winery, everything I was doing with any other spare time was writing that Cultist RPG. I have not been able to relaunch a weekend. I think it would be better if we just had a way to have it available like we've talked about week to week because or day to day even that way like hey let's play tonight. I wouldn't feel like I was having to organize a whole convention in order to put that together for the weekend. It would just be better to be like have a place where anybody can say hey let's do a game tonight and just be able to get to it. So I'm thinking about that in the context of also coming together to play the Cultist RPG for anybody who would like to do some play testing and things like that. I know. Yes. Okay. I know. Oh, and I meant to say something about that. Oh, thank you for reminding me because I want to have perhaps BGD can come on. When does that start? Isn't it the 16th? Isn't that the 16th that starts? Let's look up Rune Jammer. Rune Jammer 2024. July 20th. So it's okay. So I thought it was the 16th. I thought that it was in July. Today is the 7th. Maybe I want to have BGD come on to talk about it, or whoever from that community who would like to come on and talk about it. So Rune Jammer, which is the week of online role-playing sessions that surround the index card RPG, which we really tend to like around here, that starts on July 20th. I thought that it would also be fun to ask them if they would like to use the coffee shop as like a hangout during that week-long events. I know that they have places to play, and I haven't ever attended, so that they've got their own setup and how to play. But we know their index card RPG, a tabletop, the virtual tabletop does integrate with the index with the coffee shop. So, but even if it doesn't, even if they've got places to play, maybe just let me put the link here for Rune Jammer. Maybe it would be a good place just to hang out during that week. So I need to ask about that. Right. Well, right. But if the availability of people might be situational, but if there are more of them, then people are probably also more likely to play. You don't have to be like, and also if it's not like, oh, I can't get together that Saturday like it was, then you're out of luck. Whereas if it were more of a rolling thing, then yes, not everybody's going to be available for everyone. But if there are enough people and they're happening frequently enough, then there will be more gaming get done. So Bacon says, I'm going to try to attend the Runehammer thing. BGD has invited me to a game that he's running. I will likely be there. So yes. So maybe that needs to be on the list. But let me put that on my list. About just maybe having a hangout place. So, all right. I've been thinking about that. So I'm going to get to work here. I'm going to see about this, maybe making some videos for this cultist RPG and stuff like that. But I put that on the list to try to reach out to BGD today and about the Rune Jammer people as well. So we'll see, because we like that game. So, all right. I will talk to everybody later. Have a wonderful day. Go forth, be creative, be constructive, and get stuff done. Maybe I'll see you tonight on the Table Talk channel for a post House of the Dragon stream. We'll just see. All right. Later, everybody.